Welcome to Sports Nights with Jorge, where you get live scores and updates. And now here's your host, the one and only Jorge.
Hey, welcome to Sports Night with Jorge once again. I'm back here. Today's topic is Tua Tagovailoa was placed on IR. According to the Miami Dolphins in the NFL, this is what I'm going to read to you guys. The Miami Dolphins placed Tua Tagovailoa on injury reserve Tuesday after quarterback was diagnosed with his third concussion in 2 years. Tua will be sidelined at least 4 games, and he will be eligible to return Week 8 when the Dolphins host Arizona. But listen carefully. He has to complete a series of tests and assessment required by the NFL concussion protocol before he can return to the actual football field. As I'm reading this, guys, this probably will give time for Tua to probably react, think about it, make a decision. If you guys haven't studied or read about concussion, which probably you guys have, and what a brain damage could happen to an individual, because the brain is the actual mechanism of the human body. The brain basically is what controls all. Now, yes, I was one of those that did mention he should retire. Once again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert. Uh, Listening to all these professional athlete sports show podcast and giving their personal opinion about Tua makes you think, really makes you think. As a father, as a grandfather, as a person, I don't wish this injury to nobody. I really don't. We know already that football is a physical sport. We already know that football has its own agenda, if you want to say that. We sometimes, as we grow up as kids and growing up in life, we have a dream to become a football player. You know, being a championship, winning a championship. See, Tua won a championship in Alabama. Came in as a backup quarterback and beat Georgia with that long touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone. Well, as the guy took it, went to the corner of the end zone and scored the touchdown. Let me clarify that for a second. But you gotta look at the injuries, guys, that this professional athlete has gone through. What is hip surgery? No, hip injury. Uh, yeah, Miami took a risk when he got picked in the draft. Well, you could say that. Unfortunately, you got to give a person an opportunity to play in this league. But I'm a firm believer that Tua is a smart man. He will make the right decision and take it from here. Um, I know he signed a big contract. I know Dolphin fans and fanatics. I'm gonna put both of them together. We want to win. We want a Super Bowl. We want to win a playoff game. And before we get to the Super Bowl, we got to win a playoff game. But you have to look at the realistic of the danger in the football field when you walk into a football field. Remember, it's tackle football. It's professional football. Okay, and the fear factor will kick in the moment these injuries occur. Why? Because I could use Aaron Rodgers, Achilles injury, first game of the season. Some of those things you could come back. You come back to the field, and through therapy, through doctors, to medication, you name it. Same thing as a concussion. Let me clarify that. But a concussion is something that it's here, not your Achilles down there, not your shoulder, separated shoulder, torn ACL. You have to step back and think about it. Will you have your kid play football? Because that's their dream. Their dream is to come into the league and be the best at what he could be. But sometimes you got to face reality. And when reality hits, here's where we have to have common sense. Now, once again, I was talking about listening to other people, other players. Talking about, I was suffering from strokes. I had a stroke, my chest pain. That's different. That's different, guys. What happened to the guy with the Buffalo Bill? Untouched injury, collapse in the middle of the field. We just don't know. I'm a firm believer, third time's the charm. Okay? And we know that this is not the third time it's happened to him. It has been seen occasionally. And then we step back and say, wow, is this going to continue? I'd say Tua has a long road ahead of him. I'll give him a chance to think about it with his family, friends, whatever. Go and see a neurologist, different doctors, give him different opinion. I know some of you guys might say, well, you're talking about an injury that there's still players playing in the league with it, with concussions. Well, every time I see Tua and gets hit in the head, the moment is scary. And I understand that the fingers crumble, the legs twist, you name it. It's not a good scene, period. It's not a good scene. He's a Christian quarterback, if you guys know that. He's a true believer, firm believer. Remember that last year he was healthy, played full season, led the league in passing, did jiu-jitsu to help him out, added 30 more pounds to his weight. But this year, he came back slim, different, very different. Does that mean that going to cause this concussion? No, I'm not saying that. Because he played a full season. But this is getting more serious as the time goes on. Remember the doctor that got terminated or fired from the Dolphins on the sideline? Saying that he shouldn't let Tua go back into the game if he knew he had a concussion. And quote me if I'm wrong. But let me tell you something about the player. If you're a player, you want to play, you could turn around and lie to the doctor and says, I'm going in there. I feel great. And you're not. Because you have fear of losing your job, the quarterback job. You got fear of not beating the team you should beat. Think about that. You have all these ideas that we as fans come up, and I know we could be wrong about it because only the player knows. I mean, you come from Alabama, you get drafted, you join the Dolphins, pursue a career. I'm not saying the Dolphins is pressuring him. They signed his contract. They're looking for him to to take him to the next level. We signed Tariq Hill. And listen, guys, I'm gonna say something that I want fans to understand this. We have a Super Bowl roster, but on paper, on the field, what happened? What happened to Tariq Hill? What happened to Waddle in that game against the Buffalo Bills? I'm not ashamed to say the Buffalo Bills have our number. McDermott picked a great scheme. I don't think McDaniel was prepared for this. I don't think McDaniel had a game plan for this. And I talk to individuals out there that says, man, you might be right, George. You might be right. I mean, you can't come out of a game which a defense and I'm gonna tell you something what's amazing, but and I said this all the time, guys. Miami had more yards than the Buffalo Bills. Definitely. Over 100 more yards than the Buffalo Bills. But at the end of the day, what counts is the W, not the L, the losses. Another comment that came in, why didn't he head first slide? Feet slide. No, with his feet. Slide with his feet instead of his head. Okay. When you are a competitive quarterback, you're going for the first down. You're facing the Buffalo Bills. I think that's what goes on your mind. Your injury, your past, it's gone out of your head because you're a positive person. You're saying this is not going to happen again. Unfortunately, it did. Oh, sorry. It did. So these days to come, these weeks to come, as I read to you, he won't be back probably to week 8. Tua has a lot to think about. Once again, I'm not a doctor. Once again, that's not my call. But as a fan, I'm going to say how I see it. Let's be honest. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has the way to see things the way they see it. If he's placed in IR, I guarantee you the Miami Dolphins is giving him a chance, an opportunity to think about it. Tua has, 5 weeks to think about it? Because we also have a bye week. And then the rumors out there, and I'm a firm believer in this. Rumors sometimes sounds good because rumor starts everybody, man, Dolphins want to get Russell Wilson. He has a calf injury. It's one of the rumors. Bryce Young. I think that's the Panther franchise quarterback. But why we have to add these ideas in our head? So what are you saying Huntley for? From the Ravens, from the practice squad. Which, by the way, he was elevated to for the Sunday's game versus the Seattle Seahawks. But why we have to put stuff in our head? Once again, I'm going to say I'm a firm believer you got a 53-man roster. You play with what you have. Okay? And try to fix it from there. Because the moment the Dolphins lost that game, they're 1-1. The moment they lost the game, all you hear from these fans is, that's it, our season is done. You know, there's an old saying, you take it one game at a time, guys. One day at a time. 1 week at a time. That's NFL. 1 week at a time. It's not baseball. It's not hockey. It's 1 week at a time. We have the weapons. Tariq Hill, Waddle. Then we got Odell Beckham coming back. I hope Malik Washington, Chosen was let go today because we pick up a guy from Cincinnati Bengals for the offensive line for Terrell Armstead. You know, injuries. Listen, I was looking at the injury report, guys. There's about over 300 injuries, probably more. and we're only 2 weeks of NFL. You got a bunch of players on injury reserve. You got questionable game time decision. I'm gonna say this: 17 game stuff, it gotta go. Go back to 16. Go back to 4 games preseason. You take one out of the preseason, but you add one to the regular season. Now you might disagree with me. Pacheco, gone for the Kansas City Chiefs. Mixon, gone for the Houston Texans. And I know you're going to tell me, but George, this is sports. It's physical. People get injured. Okay, I understand that. But why so much injury? All you see in my shorts is breaking news. Injured. Cooper Kupp, injured. McCaffrey, injured. Debo, wide receiver, injured. 49ers. And that I haven't added more on my shorts because I'll be there all night adding 50, 60 shorts about players in injury reserve and 2, 3 weeks out. Russell Wilson hasn't started the season. Calf injury. And then we got people saying, rumors are Miami's are looking for a quarterback, Russell Wilson. Talking to Pittsburgh about Russell Wilson. Boy, that's not a smart idea. I'm not taking nothing bad about Russell Wilson. I like the guy. Let's be honest with you. Like I said, I'm not a negative person. Okay? But he's injured. He is injured, guys. You're going to pick a guy from an injured team? Does that make any sense to you guys? But anyhow, I came tonight just to report that at Tua Tagovailoa. I'll be doing my picks this week of the NFL. Once again, I appreciate those that subscribe. I got Cleveland fans. I got Ravens fans, KC fans. Guys, I don't talk about the Miami Dolphins all the time. That's my team back there. You see all my stuff with the Dolphins. But I speak NFL in general. Okay? That's what I speak. I talk about everything. Their strength, their weaknesses, their schedule. And I tell you, we got to be realistic. 1 week, 1 game at a time. This injury that's happening in this league, it is amazing how it's piling up, especially good players. Not bad players, great players. You're talking superstars players. And what's kind of interesting, they go through OTAs. Sometimes they don't practice with pads, of course, at the beginning. Then they practice with pads. But then you don't have a starter that'll start the game until basically week 3 of the preseason. Of course, when we play the Hall of Fame game, we have 4 weeks. That makes you think. It made me think. So cut that. Go back to 16 games, guys. Is that going to make a difference with injury? No, I'm not saying it's not, but they're playing a lot of games. If that's the case, give them 2 bye weeks. Then you're gonna have to make the game longer, but they don't want to do that. If you look at it, guys, the NFL is revenue. We all know this. It's revenue. Let's be honest. Okay? Now, I'm not criticizing. I'm not the kind of person. But I'm a realistic. I'm perfect? No, I'm not perfect. Because maybe your opinion is different than mine. But I want you to just take a moment and step back and say, man, why so many injuries? What's going on in the NFL? Why is anybody doing nothing about it? Besides the teams. Pick up players from your practice squad or pick up players from other teams. So what happened to your roster? You got 53 men in your roster. Give somebody a chance and opportunity. I'll bring this short too. People now criticizing Caleb Williams from the Chicago Bears. Same thing. They got Bryce Young and they set him down. and say, let's give Dalton a chance? Well, let me ask you a question. What weapons do Dalton has that this man don't have? Is that going to fix it, guys? You see, it's basically common sense. You built around a player. You built around the player. You built around the team. Okay, you make your players successful. I'm a firm believer. If you're a pocket passer, you should have a pocket passer, offensive coach, not a running coach. If you're a running quarterback, you get a running coach. It it's so much the intangibles, the chemistry, and the players that you bring to your team to make your team better and successful. Maybe what works for you don't work for me. And maybe what works for me doesn't work for you. That's part of the NFL right now. I think you're pushing these kids too early. I think teams are afraid to lose revenue. Uh, you got to look at all that. You got Trevor Lawrence, great contract. He's 0-2. Jacksonville radio station and fans. My God, what a bad season. Well, they got a good defense. I mean, did I disagree with what happened in the last play and giving up a safety against Cleveland? Okay, but he was rushed. Well, a smart quarterback, you throw the ball away. In a sense, it's not intentional grounding, and then they're going to count you 2 points as a 2-point safety. Okay, but you got to be smart, guys. Run to your left, run to your right. Just get out of the pocket. If you have to run for yards. You still had time on the clock. And we could be all night talking about this, things that we see in the NFL and things that, at the end of the day, 11 in defense, 11 in offense. But I'm a firm believer. You got to have a preparation prepared when you walk into the field and face any team you face, which I know every team runs a different scheme, but you have to prepare yourself for it. And some of these coaches, just because, man, they're 0-2, we should beat this team. No, every given Sunday, anybody can get beat. And I give an example with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. 4th and 15, they threw a flag and gave them the first down. Figure that out. Things happen. But that's part of football. And yes, injury is a part of football. But so much for training, diet, nutrition doctors, the weight room, getting physical, getting prepared for the season. That makes you think. Taking the proper vitamins, I guess. Doing the proper exercise, I guess. Like I said, quote me if I'm wrong, guys. But anyhow, that's all I got tonight for you guys. Like I said, this week I'll go ahead and start doing my picks for the third week in the NFL, and hopefully everybody has a good week. Everybody's healthy, come back healthy, and good luck to all these teams. That's all I can say, and good luck to Tua Tagovailoa. I'm actually praying for him. I'm praying for him to make the right decision. I'm praying for him to be sure that that he looks all his surrounding before making a decision. And it's funny how everybody says he's not retiring. Did anybody heard Tua said that? I haven't. And if I did, sorry, I apologize, I missed it. But we could be here saying, oh, he said, or she said, or I said. But anyhow, you guys have a blessed night. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm doing some little twitching around, guys. You're going to see new intros, things that I'm working on the channel. Once again, I want to thank you so much, those that have subscribed. I love you guys and girls, whoever's it's in there subscribing, the like button, the thumbs up, The comments very important. Now I do have a full-time job, but when I get a chance, I'll be answering all your comments. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I've been doing this for not this podcast, but I've been in sports for over 30 years. I got knowledge about it. I got a little experience about it. Uh, Played it a little bit, not as much, but uh, I learn as I go. I see it as I see it, and I call it like I call it. And when I say that, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to give you any false information. I'm not going to give you anything that's negative. It's a positive show. I tell everybody I wish every player the best. I wish every player a career season. But sometimes when reality hits, we have to face it. I'm going to say this to all my friends, fellow friends, and everybody out there. Fear comes from the enemy, not from God. God will tell you the right thing. The enemy is not going to give you the right thing. But, quote unquote, I'm going to say this. Before I say anything, I apply everything to myself first before I bring it out there. Like I say, I love everybody. I get along with everybody. I don't argue with anybody. I hear your opinion. I listen to it. I agree with it. If I disagree with it, I still love you. There's no other difference to that. See, this is why sports is so really in bad shape right now. You got so many podcasts that, and I'm not going to mention name, and I'm not going to judge anybody. I just put that out there. That they want to become bigger than what they are, and they shouldn't. For what I work here, I'm taking it step by step. I'm not competing with nobody. It's not a competition. You have so many podcasts, so many sports podcasts, and I wish them the best. I really do. I wish them success. Some podcasts, they think they know it all. They have the knowledge. Good luck. The best for you. Because all I want to do is with all these podcasts is join them, talk to them, give them my opinion, be positive, and that's it, guys. That is it. But anyhow, thank you once again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to Sports Night with Jorge. My initials S and J. If you go into the actual search, some people put S and J, or some people put the whole thing, Sports Night with Jorge. You'll see my logo. My logo is actually the like the moon or the star. The sun, the star, shaped with the S and J in the middle. But anyhow, thank you so much. You guys have a blessed night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Thank you once again for joining Sports Night with Jorge. God bless.